Hello again. We just noticed in the supermarket that they sometimes come up with these offers like, at a silly price. This is a whole duck that's costing £5, which is fine really if you've got a large family. But what say if you were wanting to break that down to have smaller amounts? So, well, I suppose let's start. Let's have a look. Let's look what we can do. So basically, whole duck weighing approximately 2 kilos. Let's just move that across, cameraman. Got the giblets in there, which we can make stock with. Let's just get some kitchen roll, bear with me. And what I was intending to do was break this down into about, I don't know, maybe 4 meals, something like that. So hopefully at the end of it we will have 2 legs, 2 breasts and the wings on the back here, which you can either roast as well or do as stock, leaving us with the bone. Just bear with me for a second, just give them a little pat down and take off any wobbly bits like so before we start. So I think we're about ready there, don't you, cameraman? This is wax, by the way, that they use to remove the feathers, but it's not sort of gunk, it's just wax. Nice duck by Gressingham, always a good brand, a really good brand actually, to be fair. I think we've got all the bits and pieces out. 2 knives there. Again, all you need is a very sharp kitchen knife. The ones I'm using here, this one's got quite a flexible blade, which when you're using it with poultry is quite handy because it can go into little crevices, etc. This one here is not flexible at all. More for using out, for using on pork or lamb or beef. But we'll try both and see how we get on. So starting, that's his front bit with the breasts there, legs there, wings here. So I've just turned him over. And we're going to take the wings off first. Where should I put all these? Bear with me for 1 second. Don't turn off, cameraman. While I bring a plate into play. So we'll take off wings first. If you move it around, you can roughly see where it rotates is where the bone is. This would be your arm if it was a human, and we're just tucking around. Can you see that, cameraman? Until you find the joint, which is pretty much there. So we'll take that one off, trying to keep as much of the breast meat on the breast as opposed to on the wing. 1. And the same the other side. Are you okay with that, cameraman? And we'll take number 2 off. And 2. Now, next one is we'll take the 2 breasts off. I'm going to do them boneless. However, just say there was 2 of you and you wanted half a duck that you were going to make into a Peking duck. You would either take these wings off or leave them on. Your next step would be to cut right down the middle until it gets through that bone, which is it's more cartilage than bone. And on the bottom would be the same. And then you're able to divide the duck into two halves. But for me, we're going to take the breasts off boneless. There's your little marker. And there will be the breastbone running down the middle. And then it comes down. I'm going to just slide it round so I can do the same. Can you catch that angle at all? When you're cutting down, all you're hitting is the cartilage, which is the breastbone. And if ducks were human, that would be basically ribs that they would have. This here is the wishbone, like you would get in a chicken, and I guess in a human would be a collarbone. And we're following it around. See, there's the ribs there now. So we're following it around with no real problem at all. I'm just sliding it back round again. And now we'll just turn it on its side. There's the meat, because it's the chunky bit, and you can feel underneath with your fingers is just the flappy bit, which is just skin basically. So we're just coming round there, and that's one breast off. In the next bit I'm going to take the other breast off, but I'll do that now and then we'll come back to the legs. So for now I'm just going to stop. Hello again. So that's the other breast taken off, breast number 2. So we'll keep that there. Next one are our duck legs. Now it's again feeling around. You've got 2 options, which that is one of them, is to cut over the back, and then we're just following the remains, if you like, of the carcass. You can't really do any damage if you stick by the bone. That there is the top of the femur, this little joint just coming up in here. Now we want to pop that, for want of a better word. I'll do it 2 ways. That's it there. That's the femur just popped out. So that's his thigh bone. And that is his little leg bone, the bit he sits down to. And his little feet would be there. So that gives you an idea, biology-wise. They don't really, with ducks, considering the amount of swimming they do, have huge legs, like athletes' legs. There's a little nugget of meat just inside there where I'm cutting now. It's around the pelvis. There's not much else you can get from that, because that's just bone there. So there's nothing else you can trim out of that. So that would be one leg. We'll quickly do the other. Sorry. So we're just, with ducks as well, swimming around in cold water, they tend to have a lot of fat around their underneath parts, which obviously keeps them warm when they're swimming around like that. Can you see that? That's just coming around the bottom of the pelvis. Here's our femur again, just that little bit in there, and out it pops. Sounds quite gristly actually. There's our little nugget of bone, meat rather, and come round like that. That on a chicken would be your parson's nose. This now you can use for stock, with the meat etc. in there. I think you're coming a bit too close there, cameraman. So I'll put that to one side, and then going back to our little bag of giblets. What do we do with the giblets? This, don't get there, and there, and there. Okay, do you want the biology class? Yes or no? Cameraman's nodding. This is the crop, or the not the crop. It's the stomach. The lining has already been taken out, and that is a very, very tough muscle as you can see, very, very tough. This here is the neck that would have attached on there, and his head on the end. Again, used for stock. Chinese, I think, cook that up, roast them up like they are, and they eat them like off the bone like a spare rib. This is the heart, like so, looking all healthy, although not alive, and the liver, duck liver, which you could, if you had enough of them, make them into a pate, etc, etc. But all of these parts now are going in for stock, and then the portions, just again, so you got what, 4 or 5 portions, 5 meals, I guess. So I hope that helps. So turning one duck, as opposed to just roasting it up for £5, you've turned it into this little medley of pieces of meat. Thank you again for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you again.